So now let's discuss about the reversing of a string, but not the complete string like we discussed in the previous class. So we already discussed one program about how do we reverse a string. But here, this string is a only one word, and here is string is in the form of sentence. Then when it comes to sentence, there are various ways to reverse. Reverse this entire string from first to last, which we already did. Same code will work for this. Then here, what is the next thing we are reversing? We are reversing the word from the same place. I is a single letter, therefore will be as it is. But when it comes to this LOVE, it has to become the reverse of this LOVE in the same position. Then Java, it has to become the reverse in the same position. That's one way. The next thing is like the last word should be at the first without reverse. Then second word should be second, last second word should be second, first, second. Then in the reverse direction, the last word should be the last word in this order. So this is the second way. So now to get these two, so we have to use one predefined method. Okay. So it is your choice. Tell me second one or third one. Which one we'll discuss? Second one. Okay. So out of this reverse approaches, then we'll discuss this second question. The requirement is when there is a string. When there is a string, some yes equals the string value is I love Java. Then for this string, we have one expected output. E by O expected output, I mean. Then here first word, second word has to be reversed in the same position. Then third word has to be reversed in the same position. So this is the requirement. So before we go for what is the code, let us understand what to do. The step-by-step approach is, once we have this, the given input called I love Java, to reverse a string, first we have to have the separate word, correct or not? So previously like we did reverse is campus. So now here also to revert this love, first I want to get this separate word. Then to revert this Java, so we have to get this separate word. Similarly, if something other spellings than single letter, we also need this separate word. Then how do we get a separate word from the input called a string statement, which is separated by spaces in this scenario? How do we get that? So for that, in Java, on strings, we can implement a method called a split method. A string object by using dot operator like equals method, length method. So we can also implement one more method called a split method. Split method will take a string parameter. Like our area method will take int parameter. Same way, split method will take a string parameter. So how you want to split by? I want to split wherever there is A, for example. I want to split wherever there is E. I want to split wherever there is a space. So according to our scenario, space. So that's why within double quotes, give a space key. The space key on the keyboard. So this is the split method. For every method, there is an input and also there is a return type also. What's return type of this split method? The return type of this split method is one string array. String array of some variable of programmer choice, say some ARR for array. Yeah. Once if we implement, if this is our string input, some string yes equals, this is the input called I love India. Then if we implement this split method on this string object called yes with a space separation, then we are going to get a string array. Then what's the result of this one? This ARR is nothing but a new array. What type of array? String type of array. Then elements will be of which type? In string array, string elements only should be there. So what is the first element? I, but in a string. By default, comma is a separation for next elements. Then what is second element? Love. With space or without space? Without space. Space will be there used for splitting. So therefore space will not be there. So love, then comma, Java is the third. First question, first part. To get each word of a string split accordingly depends on the requirement. So in our case, the requirement is a space splitting. First point. Then once if we get a word, can we reverse this? So no, reverse of a string logic we have to implement. Yeah. So from this array, so they are at index position 0, index position 1, index position 2. So this is one array or string. It's one array. So this is one array here. Yeah. Can we access array elements one after the other? Yes or no? So can we run a loop to access each array element? So first, with the 0th index position, ARR of 0th index position, we can access the first element called I. Then with ARR of 1 position, we can access second element called as love. Then similarly, ARR of 2, we can access Java. Correct? Once we access this, then it is what? Yeah. So once we access this one, is it string or not? All these are strings only. Now this is a string. Can we apply reverse of string logic on this? On this also? On this also? Yes or no? We can apply reverse logic. So during reverse, we have to append it. We have to add it. Once it is reversed, for example, we'll reverse I, so therefore it will become I only. Then second, we'll reverse love. So what it will become? LOVE. Correct or not? And then once it is Java, it will become JAVA in reverse order. Correct? But where do we get this space? Yeah. So when we make each reverse word as new sentence, so we have to add a space. Yes or no? Every time we should add a space? No. Then after Java also we will get a space. But is that is right in reverse of this string? No. So therefore, once the array index is at 0, then add one space after that. Once array index is 1, then add space after that. Once array index is last, to mean last, I mean, then after that, do we need to add space? No. Once array index is not last, then add every time a space. Once it reaches to last, then don't add a space to get a proper way of reversing it. Even if you add blindly also, in output we can't see. But when we compare with palindromes, we'll get wrong. Understood? So this is the step-by-step approach process. So for this, we have tried a Java code. Yeah. So let us write. It's very easy. Nothing is there. If you understand this concept, it's very easy to write the code. So after having this string in main method, what is the second step? Take one empty string to perform this addition. So that's why I'll take one empty. So string, or I'll take some reverse. Reverse is a variable name, but it is an empty string. This is a empty string. After this, what to do? Split the existing string. Split the existing string. Yes dot split method, and inside this split by a space. So here what is there? Here a space key is there. What's return type of this one? Its return type is a string array. So you can use any name, but it's a string array. Say I'll use some ARR only. This is the first part. Then to access each and every array element, what we supposed to do? Run the loop. So for that, I am taking one for loop for int I equals 0, because arrays are always index based or integers. That's why int. Yeah, int I equals 0. So till last index element, we have to reverse every element, right? That's why I should be less than or equals. Come on. ARR dot length property or length method. Think and answer. Length. What is this string? What is this string? It's an array. Then array, how come methods will be there? On arrays, JVM will give a property called length, not a length method. That's why I said no, yesterday I used some statement. With this one question, will be out of the interview. If you are using parenthesis, gone. Yeah. So here array dot arr dot length only. To make it as generic, length minus 1. Then to access each and every element, increment by 1 plus plus. So this is the for loop. Understood? First point. Then what is the first element? First element is what? I. Second element is Java. Sorry, love. Third element is Java. So get each element and reverse it. Understood? Then how to reverse it? Just to keep it simple, I'm writing one extra line of code. That is, if you are using the array name and with index number called I, what do we get here? ARR of I is what? It's I and it is love. Then it is Java. What it is? String. Yes or no? So here I'm using something called as a string, some different variable called X. It's not required actually, but still let me write. Yeah. Then once we have a string, can we write a reverse logic? Yes or no? So here we have a company campus called string. Then we can write a reverse logic. Yes or no? Same thing also we have to write here by using inside outer for loop. We have to do this. So what is the syntax? How to reverse it? X is a string. Empty is already available. Then please tell me how to reverse. For loop int j. We can't use I. J equals, yeah. To get reverse from where we have to access? From first element or from last element? Last element of the X string. Yes or no? Please tell me. X dot, yeah, length is what? Property or method? Property. X is what? String or string array? String, then how come you use a property? Syntactically wrong. So X dot length method minus 1. Then J should be greater than or equals 0. Then J should be decremented. J minus minus. So this is the for loop. For loop here. Yeah. So what is the purpose of this for loop? Get each and every character and add it to the empty string. Correct or not? So for that, what is the process? X dot char at is a method, and based on j index, which gets the last character every time, then add this to empty string called reverse, then add this back to reverse only. Understood? Sure. If you can able to make this entire program into parts and make it each thing correctly, then only it is possible. Otherwise, it will be little bit challenging. This clarity you should have. Yeah, what we should do after each step. Don't think entire the program is some 100 lines. Make it as first 5 lines. What is that? So get the string and split it. Then second thing, access each element by using a for loop. Then once we get each element, then write it reverse logic. Then add an extra space whenever it is required. If not, leave it. Are you getting me? Yeah. So this for loop will make first character of this string, sorry, first position character called I will be reversed. So anyhow, it will be I only. After that, what is next thing in our output? Space should be added to this. To the same string called reverse only, space should be added in this scenario. Am I correct or not? Are you getting me? Or becoming more complicated? Yeah, so when we should add space? So inside outer for loop, outside inner for loop. This is the place where I'm choosing and which is rightly so. So if, when we should add a space, if I value less than or equal to length minus 1 or only less than length, only less than the array name called ARR dot length minus 1. Equal to means up to last index. But here I'm not using equal. So for this scenario, if this condition is true, to the existing reverse string. To this, take the same reverse and add one space in double quotes format. Understood? That's it. This is the logic. Then outside outer for loop. Outside outer for loop. Then inside main method, use a print function to print which variable? Reverse is a variable in which our entire output is going to be there. So which is nothing but I love Java. No extra space here, no extra space here. Precisely, this is the output we are going to get. Understood? Sure? Yeah. If you think this is tough, I'm sorry. There are too many things. Too many tough questions are there. Yeah, again, I didn't get. In next program, okay, take last word and add to empty string. Then add one space. Then take last second word and add to the empty string. Then take last character and adds to the existing string, but no space at the last. That's it. That question is much easier. Only take the array elements and add it. No need of reversing that, no. So he is asking about this question number 3. So for that, it is a little less compared to whatever we have written. Understood? Understood? So now I'll go to Eclipse. You have to tell me everything. I'll just type. So in this yesterday's string project, a new class I'm taking. So for this, I'll give this as a reverse of string sentence. That's my file name. And I'll take directly main method, click on finish. So inside this, so I can get the yesterday's code of scanner class. Then from there onwards, we can type it directly. We did not use scanner class. Yeah, we used. Yeah. So here we used it. I'll take this entire thing. Copy. I'll get one error if I paste it. What's the reason? What's the reason? It's not important, right? Scanner, control space, add import. Done. Yeah. Now in our yes variable, I love India is there. So then continue from here. You tell me, I'll type. So we need one empty string. You can give any name of variable. So I'm giving something called as reverse, which is equals empty string. That means no space, nothing. Next. Take for loop. Yeah. What's the for loop logic? Int I equals 0. The next I should be less than or equals which length? Where is array? So split it. So this is not the immediate code. We have to split it. Tell me how to split. Existing object string object name called yes dot. What's the method name? Split method. So how to split it? Split by space in double quotes. So we split. Yeah, we have to store that result into array. It's not mandated to catch a method return value. If required, we have to catch it. So in this scenario, it is required. Therefore, catch it. So what's the return type? String array. Some variable name, ARR of our choice. Next. Now for loop. Tell me. For int I equal 0. Next. I should be less than or equals ARR dot length minus 1. The next I plus plus. Then the body. Yeah, inside this. So to keep it simple, string some variable of programmer choice which is different from any of the previous, then equals the array name with every index which is there in I variable. So after having this X string, then reverse this X string. What's the logic? For loop, yeah. Int a different variable called J. Now X dot length method -1. The next J should be greater than or equal to 0, then followed by J minus minus. What's the purpose of this inner loop? Reverse that X string every time. So what is the logic? X dot caret method. Caret I or J? J. So this to be added with what? Empty string called reverse. Then store this result back to reverse only. So this is the purpose of J loop. Yeah. Then after getting this first element called X, what we have to add? Add space with some condition. What is that condition? It should not be last index of the array. So till that time, every time add one space. So that's what we are writing a condition based with if condition. What's the condition? If I value is less than ARR dot length -1, not equal to. So in this, if this condition is true to the existing reverse string, at the end, if you write before, it will be added someplace. If you write after, it will be added some other place. So to this existing reverse, add one space and store this result back to reverse once again. Yeah. Correct? That's it. Then where to print to see the output? The outside outer for loop. Outside outer for loop, but inside the main method. So system.out.println. So print the reverse variable to see the output. Control S to save, Control F11 to execute. So it is asking to enter a string. Then I give I love Java. So what do you got? We got only I. Why? No, it's outside for loop. It's outside only, no? Yeah. So split, then get each our array element here. I is less than or equals. If I is less than, okay. So let me rerun the program. So instead of giving that, I'll give only one word. So it's working. But working for only one word means we are not somewhere generic. Where is a mistake? So then I is less than this string array, I plus plus. Then we are taking that into one string variable, and this string variable last character. So we are taking, and it is reversed. It is reversed. J, 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 I. Then here also, I only. Yeah, so if we can identify, it's fine. If not, we can go for a debugging concept. So this is the best place or best situations to use debugging to understand where it is not happening. Yeah, anybody? Okay, so it is not the logical mistake. It is a method which we use to read the string. Two methods are there. One is next method will read only one word from the entire string. Whatever you give, one word only it will read. Next line is a one more method to read a string which reads the sentence, entire sentence. That's the difference. Now let me save and execute here. So this time I enter the same input. I didn't change anything in the logic. You observe? Got it? Got it or not? So there is a point that, okay, first I'll add the notes. Using scanner class, we can read string in two different ways. What is the first approach? Next method. What this will do? From given any input, like I love Java, this will read what? Only first thing till we find a space, till it finds a space. That's why this will be only considered by this next method. For example, this is example, say 1. If I give next example, like Java is platform independent, something, next word. So when we use next method, it will read only Java, that's all, first word. That's purpose of next method on scanner class. Then to read a string, we have one more method called as next line, L capital. So for such type of things, if you are giving one example as I love Java, then what this will read? This will read this entire string into this next line method. That's the difference. So because of that, so our logic has given first time. When I didn't use next line, only one we got. But when I changed this one, we got the entire thing. Understood? Yeah. So shall I repeat anything? Or is it clear? Yeah. So you feel this is understandable, you take this one. Or if this is understandable, you take this one. Yeah. Yeah. I'm being honest. I don't know all these logics on day one. On day one, I don't know this. So I analyze everything on my own. Whenever I'm writing some Java program, I become JVM. Okay, I write one line of code. Okay, JVM execute this. What will happen? Okay, first line of code, it will load into the memory. So after that, what is the next thing I want to do? I want to access this. So then what to do? How to do access? If it is array, if it is string, or if it is for loop. So all those things step by step, I think like a JVM. Yeah. So sometimes I may be successful, sometimes many times I may be wrong. So then I'll I'll try to do my own. Then I type in Eclipse. Okay, I am unable to analyze further, so I type in Eclipse. So then I'll use the debugging technique. I'll put a breakpoint. Then I'll use F6. Okay, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? So what is my expectation from that? Where I'm going wrong? Then I'll think of what is the next process to do it. So that is the approach which I have followed to develop the logical skill. So this is, so there may be multiple ways to write a one Java program. Some of them may write in 2-3 lines only. Some of us write in 10 lines. Some of us write in 20 lines. So it doesn't matter until unless we get our own logic. Don't depend on anybody. Once we get our own logic, then I'll check with him. Okay, he has written some 10 lines only. I have written some 20 lines. Okay, what is a better thing from him? I can learn. That's the approach which I have followed. So this is where I am. Yeah. So I know that it will not happen that much clearly, simply on first attempt only, but that's the approach to be followed. Am I clear? Yeah. Then, so here I have introduced one split method, not for this question. When you get such type of requirements, you split it and do it the known tasks only. If you split it, then reversing each word we already discussed. That is integrated to the same question. Yeah. So then there is one more question. What is that? There is a string. There is a string, but string can store any type of data. So which is a numeric data called 100. Yeah. Then what is our expected output for this program? So we have to make this as a 101. Directly, can we add 1? It will become 1001. Then what to do? So there is a first statement, or a first thing that comes to mind is convert string to integer. Is it possible? So I'm writing integer spelling with I capital. Okay, int is a primitive. Integer full spelling with I capital is a object. There is a difference here. So how to convert this string to integer? Dot equals will compare the addresses. Yeah. So for this, in integer class, I'm using a new word called integer class. Okay. So in integer class, then inside this class, when we use a dot operator, we can access its inner methods. So there is a method called as parse int. Parse int is a method name. So I capital, camel casing standards for method names. Parse int of, so here this will take one string input. What's input? String input. So which is our yes variable we can pass. In integer class, a method called parseInt, which takes string as a input. Then what it returns? It returns int as a return type, some variable of x my choice. This is how we can convert a string to integer. We have to remember this one. Many times we are going to use in our Java life. Yeah. Then followed by, once we have x, what to do? Print x plus 1 over. This will give output called 101. Understood? Yeah. Where? In string. Then that's not a proper numeric to give in the form of string. Syntax error. It is only possible if number is purely in the form of a string. But his question is, what if the string is like 1 space 0 0? This is a string. Then can this integer at parsing convert this one? So we don't get it. Yeah, it's not a number, but it's not a wrong input also, right? Its input is right only. In string format, we can store anything. But can that convert into integer? It's a meaningless integer. In integer, it's meaningless. But in string, it's a meaningful only. So such type of things will not work. Yeah, it's a valid question. Understood this? Yeah. Then I'm giving a question based on split method, based on this integer dot parseInt method. Please take a question. Write a Java program to find the time difference or to print. Print the time differences. There are two times, time 1 and time 2. Then you have to print the difference of them. Then what's the time input? General time will be separated by hertz, colon, minutes, colon, seconds also. I'm not going till seconds, only hertz part I'll give and minutes parts also I'll give. So string, because of colon set string, T1 for time 1, which is in the format of string only possible. Then something like 12 hours, 30 minutes. This is for string. There is a string T2 equals the hours are 11 hours, minutes are 0 0. This is my input. What's output of this program? In time format, 1 hour 30 minutes. In time format only should get the output. So this should be the output. Yeah. So what to do? You think and do it. Yeah. We have every knowledge to do this program. Do it. Understood? Yeah. You have to write a generic logic. I have given a comfortable scenario where first time is bigger, second time is smaller. We can simply do that subtraction and all those things, but it is not that simple. If I give first one higher, second one is smaller, I'll give some less minutes here. Here I'll give more minutes. All those things you have to. Yeah, if you give 1 o'clock also, it will give error. Correct. 12:30 is a PM. 1 o'clock also PM only. Then if you compare, 12 is bigger than 1, but which is not actually in time. So those things are the complications. First, get this simple question, then think about how do you make generic logic. Yeah, it's one interview question. It's given in one interview question. Take it down. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, you have recording also. You can go to that. Then next, the next concept, string class. String class has how many methods? So if I take this S called, S is what? One string. Correct or not? If you use something string object S dot, there are how many methods? These many methods are there. Correct or not? Some around 100 methods are there. Let us assume, or some 60 methods are there. Do we discuss each and everything? No. So if that is the case, then our course time will extend by 1 more month. Yeah. Then what to do? So I'm telling the approach. If you want to use a string method, what is the approach to be followed? So for that, I am choosing one example. Okay. The string class methods is the next concept. To understand how do we use one predefined method, so let me take one example to follow some approach. So for this, the requirement I am taking is some string s equals banana. I'm taking banana as a string. Then my requirement is replace or modify or change. Okay. Change this NA, wherever there is NA, to something else. What do we take? Something like, say, LA or LL, whatever it is. Anything you can take, doesn't matter. Wherever there is NA in the given string, so we have to change that to LL. It means what is our output? So if I print this BA, in place of first NA, what we should get? LL. And in place of second time NA also, what we should get? LL only. Yeah, so that is the output which we are expecting. So for this, do we write the code or do we use existing methods? What is the process? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So when it comes to any string, to perform some requirements, we use a string object. Dot is a operator. Once we use this string object with dot operator, we'll get one Eclipse IntelliSense window. This is called as a IntelliSense window, not intelligence. This is the best place to learn Java. Okay, no other resource, no websites are required. What something predefined thing is doing. So this is the best place to learn everything, which is official information. Then S dot. So what can be accessed based on this S dot? So they will be available in alphabetical order. So first all A related methods, if there are there, then alphabet B related methods, then C, and so on up to Z. Wherever it is available, those methods will be available on this IntelliSense window. Yeah. Then I don't know which method to use, but I have my basic English common sense. What is that? I want to change something. Then I look for C. In C alphabet, do we have any change method name? Okay, it's not there. It is not there, for example. Then what is the meaning, other meanings of this change? Maybe modify. I'll go to M letter and I'll check anything called as modify. Maybe there, maybe may not be there. So assume that there is a modify method. Assume There is a modify method is there. Just assume that there is a modify method is available. Yeah. Then as per my requirement, what it should take as inputs? NA is one input. What type of input? String. So it should take one string input, correct or not? Some variable called X. Then what it should replace with? One more string only. Therefore, it should take one more string called Y. What is my input? NA. What's my replacement? LL. Then it should take two inputs, correct or not? Even though there is a modify method is there, but if it is not taking two inputs, then is it required for us? For this requirement, a modify method is not taking two inputs, for example. Is it required? No, I can eliminate that. Okay. So that is my next thing to approach. I don't know anything. Modify method will do what? But my requirement says it should take two inputs. Yeah. And it should return what? It should return string only. The return type also must be string only. So that is how we have to identify. So then there is no method called as modify. No method. Then what is the next things? Change, modify, update, maybe, or replace. Sorry, or order. Yeah, something. So replace maybe, order maybe, like this. So then all these method names will check with our English understanding only. Then somewhere in replace we'll find it. It is there. Okay? In letter R, there is a method called replace. But there are four replace methods are there. Yes dot replace. Yes dot replace first. Then S dot replace all. Then there is one more method called replace something else is there. Then again, I have one more problem. I'm happy that I got a method, but there are problem. Four methods are there. What to do? Check the inputs. Now, what is our input and outputs? String and string only. So there is one method called replace which takes character, some variable, which returns, sorry, one more character called Y. Is it suitable for us? No, then ruled out. My understanding of method says this is ruled out. Because I want string input type, but it is taking character input. Then here, this replace first will take string X comma string Y. Is it suitable for us? Looks like suitable. Then I have a next advantage called place your cursor on this replace first method. With method name itself, there is some hint called wherever there is NA, only for the first NA it will replace. That's what the method name says. But I am not clear. Then what to do? Place your cursor on this. Once you place your cursor on this one, then you'll get a clear window with method description. Method description will be there. It means what is the input of this method, what is written type of this method. If example, if I give BANA with LA, what it will do? It will replace every NA or only first time NA. So all those things will be given in this method description. We have to read it and understand it. Yeah, so that will come to know this is not suitable because it is replacing only first time NA with LA, which is not our requirement. Then what we should do? Go for replace all. So all also will give the information. So here, the next thing we have to notice is whenever a method is given, clearly what are inputs to this method? Input to this method will be given. Then colons operation, the next value will be return type of this method will be given clearly. Then once again colons operation, then in which class this method is present also will be given from the IntelliSense window. Like this, depends on our requirement in real-time projects. We have to find a suitable method, read the description, understand it, use it if it is suitable for our requirement. So this should be the approach. Am I clear? Then finally, we'll find yes dot replace all, and there is one more replace. Both will do the purpose. So there is a difference. Okay. So this is how we have to understand a method depends on the requirement because we can't learn each and every 60 methods. Approach I'm saying. Am I clear? So let's go for the same thing. So in our same string project, in the same package, we can take any number of classes. I'm taking a new class that is string method demo. Then I'll take main method for execution and I click on finish. So for this, first we'll have some input of string type. So here I'll take a string, some yes equals, the same thing that we discussed, a banana. Then what are we supposed to do? Replace NA with something called a LL or whatever it is. Then yes dot. What is this? This is what I'm talking about as a IntelliSense window. Yeah. So if you want, you can expand also. Then first thing, any method on A letter, not there. Letter B, not there. Starting from C. First method is caret. So we already used this caret method. Now you just observe what's the input to this caret method? Int index. It means any integer kind of input only we can give. That's what we are giving 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's return type? Return type. After method, I said return type is there. After method, what's the next one? Return type is there here. Then third one is a class. What's the separation? Colon is a separation. Now just observe the same thing. Yes dot caret method colon char is there. Correct or not? So for visibility, I'm clicking somewhere else, but you observe the first line. Method colon char. What's the second one? Return type is a character type. That's why we can store it into some character variable. And then followed by next hyphen. What is the next one here? String. What is the meaning of this? This caret method is present in the string class. That's how we have to read it. So we can go for one more known method called length method. What's length method? Does it take any input? No, length with simply open and close parentheses. Any inputs are there? Length method will not take any input. What it returns? Int. That's why we are getting a length of the string as 4 or 5 or 6, depends on the number of characters. It is present in which class? String class. That's how we have to understand. Then as per our requirement, we don't have any change method. Then if I go for next letter, M. What is that? M only matches is there, modify is not there. Then I'll go to U. Any update method? T after? No UV. Update method is also not there. Then what's my next meaningful English? Replace. So I'll just type okay. Yes dot replace. How many replace methods are there? 4 replace methods are there. Which one we have to understand? So first method takes what input? Char and char. Char, old char is a variable. Char, new char is a variable. So which is not required for us. What second method? Replace character sequence. Sequence of characters like ABC is a sequence. Like that, this may be yes. Because it takes one target like NA, which takes one replacement called LL in our example. And it is returning string only. And it is present in the string class. This method may be yes. Then place your cursor or click on this method. You'll get further clear information, including some example also from this window. Yeah, we can maximize it. This replaces each substring is a part of string of the string that matches the literal target NA with specified literal replacement called LL in our example. The replacement process from the beginning of the string to the ending of the string, which is what we expect also. Correct or not? So wherever NA is there, we have to replace with LL, something like that. Then for example, replacing AA with B in the string called triple A, the first AA will be replaced with what? First two A's will be replaced with B. That's why this will result BA, but not AB. Not second part of AA. First AA only will be replaced with a B is the example that they are giving. So this we have to understand before we use in our program. Then what are parameters? The target, the sequence of characters, the replacement, the sequence of character values. What's the returns? The return type is string. It is available from Java 1.5 version, not from Java 1.0 version. So this is how we can get everything from the IntelliSense window. Yeah. Then here you can see one more method called replace first. I don't read entire thing, but I'll read only one valid thing. Yeah, you can see here. What is the replacement? The string to be substituted for the first match only. Wherever there is NA for the first time, that only will be replaced, not the remaining ones. That's what the purpose of this method. Then what is the next one? Replace all. This also, the same meaningful information is there. You can read from this. This is also suitable. This replace of character sequence also suitable for our requirements. Understood? So now I'm going to use replace all method. What's the input that it takes? String. So I'm giving NA. Then what's the one more input? Also string only as per our requirement. I'll give LL. Then I'm done with my method usage. Semicolon. Then system.out.println. So print yes. So now we have given banana, and with this method, what's output that we are going to get? BA, LL, LL. Yes or no? Yes or no? BA, NA, we are replacing all. All occurrences of NA will be replaced with LL, no? Then what's output we are going to get? So if you are having any confusion, I'll take this in place of LL. Say, so NA is there. Some XY I'll take. Now tell me what's output we are going to get? BA, XY, NA. Yeah, replace all, no. XY, XY. Correct or not? So we are not going to get XY, XY or XY, NA or NA, XY. We are going to get banana only. Why? Yeah, because string is immutable. Original string is not modified. Then after modification, what to do? Update the same thing to back to the same variable to see the difference. Then only it is possible, because string property says string is immutable. Understood? Yeah. So this is the approach to understand methods. So then so these are some most commonly used methods on strings here. So some of them we already used. So one such is caret method. What is your task? You have to understand and write what's the return type, what's the input. What's the input to a method? What's the return type of this method? Similarly, concat is one more method. Equals, we already used. Then equals ignore case is one more method. Then is empty, length, replace, substring, index of, last index of, to lowercase, to uppercase. Then to this list, trim is also one more. Like as I have shown already, there are some 60 odd methods are there, but these are most commonly used methods. So to this list, we can add split method also, which we added. Yeah. So today's your task is for each of these method. Okay. First of all, is the method name syntax is right or wrong? What is input? What is the return type of this each method? I want you to know it. Okay. So tomorrow's class will start with discussion of these methods. Then we'll go for the next concepts. With this, I'll stop for the day.